Hey everyone, it is Danny and welcome to this update video on what is happening across the tropics. And so I hope that you're all having a really great day thus far. And so in this video we will be focused on the Caribbean region. Of course, we'll be taking a look at the rainfall amounts that are expected across different areas, as well as what is currently happening there. And so before I go into details, please do subscribe and tap the notification bell so that you never miss an important update. And to show your support for the channel, you can leave a like on this video. Alright, and so let us go ahead and kickstart things. Return into this view of the North Atlantic, and we can see here that we definitely see that cold front. It's quite prominent. It's extended from parts of the Gulf of Mexico, where it's actually a stationary front, out into the Atlantic. And so we see showers and thunderstorms in other areas such as the Southern Caribbean, over in the Eastern Pacific, but we won't be talking about the Eastern Pacific in this update. And we also see some activity to the east of the Windward Islands and out in the Atlantic, a bit to the south and southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands. And so let's go ahead and take a closer look at the region. So we're looking at a portion of the Western Atlantic here, and we can see that there is quite a bit of moisture that is noted in the vicinity of the Windward Islands, and this is likely going to be resulting in increased rainfall across the region as we're going to be progressing throughout the rest of this week. And we see that blob of convection out there, so that is where we would find a lot of showers and thunderstorms, but that is offshore right now. So across most of the Windward Islands, maybe some passing clouds with a shower or so, but it shouldn't be anything too major or persistent at this point in time. So maybe some intermittent showers as we're going to be progressing throughout today. And that is inclusive of Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago. But we definitely see where some of those scattered showers and thunderstorms are making their way across the Eastern Caribbean, affecting some other areas, the ABC Islands, but not with a whole lot of activity. All right, let's drift a bit more to the west. And so we can see here that across the Western Caribbean, we definitely have quite a bit of moisture. Some of that is in association with the front, and we definitely see a bit of activity in the South Caribbean, which has been persistent there for some time, but this morning we're seeing a decrease in activity compared to yesterday. And so showers and thunderstorms are likely affecting majority of Central America right now, and even portions of the Cayman Islands, and even us here in Jamaica. Just now, before I started recording this update, it started raining, and that was just a huge sigh of relief because I absolutely love whenever it rains. I love when it's really cold and rainy, so that is just my favorite type of weather. So I'm really grateful for that. But throughout the day, we shouldn't be experiencing anything too major across the area, as there is no significant convection that is noted in the vicinity of Jamaica right now. And so guys, now let's go ahead and take a look at the rainfall totals that are expected as we're going to be heading into the end of this week or near the weekend from now to Friday. And so this is for the GFS, and where we're seeing these colors going from the shades of green to blue to purple onwards, that is indicating an increase in the amount of rainfall that is expected. And so this is the total accumulated precipitation, meaning that this is not all expected in just one day, but rather between now and Friday of this week. And so we're seeing that it is the South Caribbean and other areas such as Trinidad and Tobago, sections of Guyana, that the GFS is expecting will receive the majority of rainfall. So over 2 inches of rainfall, maybe a bit more across some areas in total. And so as for the Euro is showing something a little bit similar, but not as much rainfall, maybe around 2 inches for some areas, but mainly between 1 inch and 2 inches in total. We're seeing where portions of the Northern Caribbean, mainly the Greater Antilles, won't be experiencing a whole lot in terms of rainfall between now and then. Then we have the ICON model. ICON is expecting something a bit similar. We're seeing this trend here where it's the Southern Caribbean that is expected to really experience the most rainfall, going from areas such as Trinidad and Tobago and other parts of the Windward Islands, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, headed to the ABC Islands and portions of Central America. So those are the different totals that are expected. Again, that is between now and Friday, and not all expected in just one day. But guys, remember that even though nothing major is out there, whenever there is an extensive period of heavy rainfall, it can result in flooding across flood-prone areas. So please be mindful of that, especially if you're in any areas that are expected to receive quite a bit of rainfall, such as the Windward Islands, including Trinidad and Tobago. All right, and so what is the chance that we could see something try to develop? So let's go ahead and take a look at conditions. One thing we know that is, favorable right now is the sea surface temperatures. We're definitely seeing a lot of cool down happening outside the Caribbean region and even in the Caribbean as well, but it's just not as significant because the Caribbean is located in the tropics, which is warm all year round. But as for the Gulf of Mexico, we're definitely seeing that cool down. Some areas off the Gulf Coast, 20 degrees Celsius, so definitely cool waters. So not conducive right now for any tropical cyclone development. And this is going to be how it is until we start to head to spring and late spring next year, because that is when activity is likely to start ramping up again as we head closer to the 2023 season. But as for the Caribbean, 28, 29 degrees Celsius, that is definitely conducive for development. But of course, there are other factors that contribute to development, such as the wind shear. And so we're seeing here that the shear is quite unfavorable, which is indicated by those red lines across majority of the Western Atlantic right now. And that is going to be a huge problem. So anything that would be trying to develop right now wouldn't really be getting itself together in a region that has so much unfavorable wind shear. So that is one major factor that really helps to inhibit tropical cyclone development. And then looking at this water vapor map right here, and we have the yellow and the oranges, those indicate dry air. And so we're seeing that is quite prominent across sections of the Caribbean extended out into the Atlantic. So across portions of the Greater Antilles and Central Caribbean, we're definitely seeing where the dry air is present, and that really helps to inhibit shower and thunderstorm activity. So we're not seeing where conditions are really conducive in the Caribbean at this time to allow for some development to happen. And the chances of that happening before the end of the hurricane season decreases with every passing day, because we're just around 8 days out from the official end of the season. Not saying that there can't be any storms after, because there have been December storms, but it's just that the most favorable period is going to end on the 30th of November. And so guys, that is really what is happening across the tropics right now. So nothing too major. And again, some of these areas across the Caribbean are expected to receive increased rainfall amounts as we progress throughout the rest of this week. And nothing too major is expected, but of course, as I said earlier, extensive periods of heavy rainfall can definitely result in flash flooding across flood-prone areas. So please stay safe, guys. Take the necessary precautions, and that is really it for right now. And so if you have any questions, you can leave them down in the comments, and you can also share your thoughts there. And of course, remember to always be weatherwise.